My resolution would be this year is that dog-eat-dog world that it is. I think now's a good time on New Year's to decide whether you're going to be a hot dog or a little weenie.
Imagine walking away from the biggest band in the world at the peak of fame, retiring not once, but returning at 71 with a brand new tour, still flipping the script on everyone who thought the party was over. Today, we're diving into the wild, unfiltered life of David Lee Roth. Known for his explosive energy and larger-than-life stage presence, Roth became the charismatic frontman of Van Halen, helping the band sell over 80 million records worldwide and earn a place in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. After leaving Van Halen, Roth continued to shock and inspire the world with timeless hits, solo albums, and a style that refused to follow anyone else's rules. But behind the larger-than-life rock star image, David Lee Roth was never your typical wild rocker. He lived a surprisingly disciplined life, deeply reflective, focused on quality of life, and passionate about personal growth. His interests ranged from art and martial arts, to fitness, and even paramedic training. This is more than just a story about music. It's a journey through freedom, ego, downfall, and courageous life choices, a story that proves true legends don't chase relevance. They reinvent themselves, again and again, with style, confidence, and unstoppable energy. David Lee Roth was born on October 10, 1954, in the sleepy college town of Bloomington, Indiana. His father, Nathan Roth, was a dedicated ophthalmologist and former Air Force man, and his mother, Sybil Roth, was a passionate schoolteacher shaping young minds. David grew up in a close-knit Jewish family with two sisters, Lisa Roth and Allison Roth. Then their family relocated to sunny Pasadena, California, in 1963, where David would spend his formative years. But some of his most vivid childhood memories came from summers spent in New York City with his uncle Manny Roth, the colorful owner of the legendary Café Wa in Greenwich Village. Back in California, David attended the Webb schools in Claremont, and later John Muir High School in Pasadena. Later, he enrolled at Pasadena City College, where he met Eddie and Alex Van Halen, although he did not graduate from there. In the early 1970s, David was already fronting local bands and renting out his PA system. He eventually joined the brothers group Mammoth, along with bassist Michael Anthony, in late 1973. He convinced them to rename the band Van Halen around 1974, and took over as lead singer with his charismatic personality. They worked hard playing at backyard parties and Sunset strip clubs, like Gazzarri's and the Whiskey A Go-Go, building a huge local following. Their breakthrough came in 1977, when Gene Simmons of Kiss saw them perform, produced a demo for them, and helped them get signed to Warner Brothers. Their self-titled debut album dropped in 1978, and went on to sell over 10 million copies, and achieve multi-platinum status, thanks to Eddie's revolutionary two-handed tapping on Eruption, and Dave's swagger on tracks like Runnin' with the Devil, and their cover of You Really Got Me. The band's peak came with the 1984 album, featuring the synth-heavy smash Jump, Van Halen's only #1 hit on the Billboard Hot 100, along with Panama, Hot for Teacher, and iconic videos full of Dave's acrobatics and over-the-top energy. They became arenas superstars and MTV favorites. But tensions over creative differences led Roth to leave Van Halen in 1985, at the height of the band's fame. Then he went solo, and proved he was no flash in the pan. His 1985 EP Crazy from the Heat, featuring a fun, platinum hit cover of California Girls, with a memorable beach bus video, followed by the full album Eat 'Em and Smile in 1986, featuring Steve Vai on guitar, Billy Sheehan on bass, and hits like Yankee Rose and Just Like Paradise, from the later 1988 Skyscraper album. His solo work blended rock, blues, glam, and vaudeville flair. After a brief Van Halen reunion in 1996, Dave pursued other adventures, training as an EMT in New York City, hosting a radio show, and releasing art books and art collections. The big comeback arrived in 2007, with a triumphant Van Halen reunion tour, featuring Eddie, Alex, and new bassist Wolfgang Van Halen, which became one of the highest-grossing of the era. Then they were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2007. In 2012, they released A Different Kind of Truth, their first album with Dave since 1984, and toured heavily through 2015. Dave announced retirement in 2021, after Eddie's passing in 2020, but he couldn't stay away. He returned for select shows, including a full festival set, at the M3 Rock Festival in May 2025, his first major gig in years. And now, in 2026, he's hitting the road again with a 30-date North American solo tour, called A Night with David Lee Roth, starting April 16th and packed with Van Halen classics. But these moments not only defined rock history, but also built a luxury rock empire. Today, David Lee Roth's net worth is estimated at around $60 million, a fortune built through decades of rock rebellion and smart moves. Most of his money comes from Van Halen. The band sold over 80 million albums, so royalties from hits like Jump in Panama keep paying him year after year, through streaming and other uses. His solo albums in the 80s, like Eat 'Em and Smile, went platinum and added more cash from sales and tours. Reunions with Van Halen were huge moneymakers. The 2007 to 2008 tour alone brought in over $93 million total, and he got a big piece. Now, his 2026 tour is bringing in fresh earnings from ticket sales. He also made money from a radio job, his best-selling autobiography Crazy from the Heat, and a tattoo skincare business line, where he poured in over $7 million before it wrapped in 2022. Plus, he's done well with real estate investments. But behind the swords, ink, and chopper rides, there's a personal world that adds even more color to Diamond Dave's story. David Lee Roth has never married, has no wife, and no children, as far as the public knows. However, he maintains a rock star image when it comes to romantic relationships. In the 1980s, he dated actress and model Apollonia Cotero, which was one of his most publicized affairs, and he was linked to Brooke Shields, Tawny Katine, and several other women of that era. He later dated a Japanese woman, whom he described as his true love, but due to his past experiences, he didn't believe in marriage himself. In a candid interview in 2013, he spoke about 4 great loves, deep, meaningful relationships that didn't lead to marriage. Those women are now married to others, and he says they remain good friends. Today he remains very close to his sisters. Lisa is the creative force behind the Rockabye Baby lullabies, and she even collaborated with him on the Van Halen edition. Allison is a bit more private, but Dave has said that he loves her very much, and he credits this relationship with keeping him grounded during difficult times. His lifelong love of martial arts is particularly noteworthy. He has been training in Kenjutsu since he was about 12 years old. He has strived for high-level mastery, aiming for the Menkyo Kaden rank, and still practices regularly in his 70s. His famous onstage high kicks, spins, and energy come directly from this discipline, which incorporates Kenpo and several other styles. He spent 2 years in Tokyo, studying sumi-e ink painting, grinding his own ink, and practicing the same subject for months to perfect it. He creates serene, meaningful art and calls it therapy. For adventure, he has been a licensed private helicopter pilot since 2006, and flies himself around California or wherever inspiration strikes. He also worked as an emergency medical technician in New York City in the early 2000s, responding to real emergencies in places like the Bronx and helping those in need. And speaking of roots, David has homes where he transforms that personal vibe into pure luxury. His main home is a big 1920s Spanish-style mansion in Pasadena, California, known as the J.E. Tild House at 455 Bradford Street. He bought it in 1991 for about $1.35 million, and it's now worth around $8 million. The place sits on almost 3 acres of land, hidden behind a tall ivy wall for total privacy. It has over 11,000 square feet, with 10 bedrooms, 8 bathrooms, cool arched doorways, courtyards, and 13 basement rooms, perfect for his hobbies like art or collecting swords. It's a peaceful spot that mixes classic luxury with his wild, creative side. He also has an apartment in New York City for East Coast trips, and an apartment in Tokyo, where he spent a lot of time studying Japanese art and martial arts. These aren't investment properties, they're personal places that keep him connected to what he loves. Similarly, Roth's vehicle collection isn't about showing off or extravagance, it's a mixture of rock and roll history and a spirit of adventure. His favorite is a custom 1951 Mercury convertible, a chopped, low-riding hot rod with chrome, and a big V8 engine. It starred in Van Halen's Panama video, and his solo cover of California Girls video, and it's worth a lot as rock memorabilia. The song Panama was inspired by his old 1969 Opel Kadett station wagon, a basic blue car he used in the early days hauling band stuff. And he also loves Harley-Davidson motorcycles, for cruising and freedom, and he's had some funny wipeouts. Since 2006, he's been a licensed helicopter pilot, flown rotorcraft like Bell or Robinson models for enjoyment. For tours, he uses a practical Mercedes Sprinter van for hauling gear, tattoo supplies, and living on the road. No fancy yachts or private jets, just fun rides that suit his laid-back and down-to-earth style. Today, David Lee Roth is 71 years old and still very active. He lives a simple life, enjoying painting, creating art, and spending time with his family. He spends his time at home and traveling for inspiration, and aside from his outspoken rants, memes, and forum posts, he hasn't been involved in any major scandals or controversies. He shocked fans by announcing his retirement in 2021. and planning a final run of Vegas shows, and staying away from live performances for several years. But they made a triumphant return in 2025, starting with their first performance in 5 years, at the M3 Rock Festival in Columbia, Maryland. But the big surprise came in the last month. In January 2026, he announced a night with David Lee Roth, a 30-date North American solo tour, starting on April 16th in Airway Heights, Washington, and ending on August 7th in Sturgis, South Dakota. Highlights include stops in Anaheim, Austin, Nashville, Boston, Milwaukee, Orlando, Memphis, and more. Expect all of Van Halen's songs and classics, delivered with their signature bold, unfiltered style. Fans are divided, with many hyped for the nostalgia and energy, while others are skeptical about his live vocals at 71. But the tickets are fast-moving, and it's clear that Roth is defying age, retirement, and the expectations of the rock arena once more. From small-town sparks to eternal stage fires, David Lee Roth reminds us that real legends don't retire, they evolve. So what do you think? Is Diamond Dave's comeback tour the ultimate rock revival, or proof that he's been unbreakable forever? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. The most epic reply gets a shout-out in our next video. If you love this dive into his legend, smash that like button, subscribe for more rockstar breakdowns, and hit the bell, so you don't miss the next one.